I see. I didn't ever find one.
Did you pass the sticky notes down to those two for
Oh.
2 additions? Under Sarah Fix, you guys can put 10/31, 11/1. Those are the 2 dates she's asking for leave. 10/31 and 11/1. And then underneath substitute for service, we have a name to add there. Jacqueline Wills. Jacqueline Wills, it's almost the last, it is the last one by discussion of next agenda. Jacqueline Wills, she wants to be a substitute aide, cook, and secretary.
There's the sticky.
Aide, cook, and secretary. So she's passed all those tests to do that.
Where did you go with that?
Did you write that down, Dr. Knopf, cook? Yeah.
This one is
Okay.
substitute services.
I was hoping she would even add bus, you know?
Yeah.
You need a pencil? I got a pencil.
Yeah,
Here you
I
go.
went out to the car to get a pen, and I still don't have it. I don't know what in the world I've done.
You need all those pens we get at the in service in
I'm in
Charleston.
Kelly's car. If I was in my truck, I would be covered well.
Is Sarah Skaggs not here?
Tara Skaggs had a heart condition. She technically had a heart attack, and she's at the doctor today to schedule a heart checkup and also get her gallbladder removed. So I can give you a quick update on that and do her presentation, not do her presentation, but tell you the superintendent's report, so.
All right, are we ready? This time I'd like to call this meeting of the Summers County Board of Education, our regular board meeting, and we're having it here at Pocket Elementary. Time 6:02. Let the record reflect that 4 board members are present, with Mr. Angel joining by phone. And now, Megan, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh, gosh, that didn't feel right.
Sit still.
That didn't feel
United
right.
States of America. Republic, States, one nation.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't know what happened. I told Kitty it's just a matter of time.
Was it
Just,
her name?
no, it was my back at time, tell my Lord. Okay, thank you, Megan. Now, approval of agenda and adjustments. Is there any adjustments we need to? Need to make?
I make a motion that we pull safe and sound to be voted on separately in the bills.
Well, safe and simple. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Bergen, second by Mrs. Harvey. Full safe and sound from the bills. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote. Motion carries. Moving on to student achievement.
We need to approve the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda with the aforementioned adjustment.
Second.
Second.
Who was the second?
Me. Is
Okay.
there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, let the record reflect by 5-0 vote. The motion carries. Now moving on to student achievement.
We don't have any that came tonight, so we'll have to push that off to the next board meeting.
All right. Okay, presentations, Ms. Tara Skaggs.
Ms. Skaggs is sick and out tonight, so she'll have to get you at the next meeting. What I can tell you guys is this, we do have a, provider that is under contract to start at the beginning of December. I gotta get her name.
Can you hear Greg?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second here. Her name is Tiffany Snyder. She will be the provider starting at the beginning of December. She'll be under contract with Rainell Medical.
What happened to the provider that, we were in such a rush to sign our MOU for?
That person took a job somewhere else.
Have they started construction or changes on the, classroom? We had to vacate.
They've come in there and done some measurements. They're trying to move as quickly as they can. I don't have any more to give you because that was for her report tonight. I just need to know if they got a provider because that was our biggest concern as we move forward. But for construction, they have not done any construction in the building. They've just done measurements and get materials. That's all I know at this point in time.
We don't have an ETA as to when that'll start or when that'll be.
Well, it sounds like it's gonna have to start by December because they got a provider now, so, that's all I know at this point in time.
All right. Is there anything else, Ms. Harvey? Okay, public comments? None? Approval of the minutes. Superintendent recommends approval of the following minutes, October the 8th, 2024, regular meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the October 8th, 2024 meeting.
I'll second.
Do we have a motion by Mrs. Farley and second by Mrs. Harvey? Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, let the record reflect by, oh, you abstain?
He was.
All righty. By 4-0 vote, the motion carries with Mr. Brogan abstaining. Okay. We have before us approval of the bills.
Make a motion to pay the station bill.
I second.
All righty, we have a motion on the floor, pay safe and sound. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by 4-0 vote. Motion carries with Mr. Brogan recusing himself. Moving on to the rest of the bills.
Make a motion to pay the station bill.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Pay the remaining bills. Is there any further discussion?
Just, moving forward and given that this is now our third CSBO since I've been on here, and the state's designation, I would like to ask, maybe this is a separate motions after this too, consideration of having the bills scanned and uploaded for our review. Discussion that pay, that they already do a scan and upload, that we can have access to post meeting. The Dropbox folder. The share drive folder. Yeah.
All righty. That, is that a motion you want to make for,
That's just common.
Just a comment for
Comment.
right now.
okay.
Just for-
Okay. All righty, we have a motion and a second. Pay the remainder of the bills. And all in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed, abstaining, let the record reflect by 5-0 vote, the motion carries. Now, moving on to old business. Discussion, possible action regarding the Lincoln property storage building.
Anything new there?
You want to report on that, what you,
Well, the city event has a city council meeting tonight, and on the agenda is the set. You decide tonight, they probably do.
Can we move that speaker closer to Kevin? Sorry.
Come on up here, sir.
That one,
Leave both of them here. He can come closer.
So the city of Hinton has a city council meeting tonight, and on their agenda is for them to accept the property that we are hopefully going to convey to them this evening. That would be the storage building and then the property surrounding that. I had a conversation with Anna Ziegler this past week, and provided that the city of Hinton accepts the property, provided that the board approves to convey the property, the city will take care of the deed. We will have to provide them a copy of tonight's minutes. So that's where we stand.
Thank you.
thank you.
I make a motion that we convey the Lincoln property, storage building, and the land that it sits on to the city of Hinton.
Okay, we have a motion with Mrs. Farley and a second, Mrs. Harvey to convey the property and the storage building at Lincoln School to the city. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote, the motion carries. Discussion and possible action.
He just asked me who's second.
Oh, okay. Discussion and possible action to approve changes, amendments to policy 11B5 regarding legal services agreement. 2B5?
2B5.
Yes.
So Jay, I can talk about this one for a minute.
All right.
What my intent was with this is to make sure we could reach out to multiple law firms and not be stepping on anyone's toes. We've had a understanding, or I won't say an agreement. I'm trying to think of what it was referred to as. We had a understanding with Bowles Rice, we would use them for legal counsel. It was called an engagement letter, and they've had that on file since 2015. Last school year, one of the things we did was approve Steptoe and Johnson as a secondary law firm. So my intent with this policy and reviewing it again was just to make sure we could reach out to other law firms and not be in any violation of an engagement letter that we might have with an existing law firm. Case in point would be us being able to use a local law firm for the previous mentioned item of the conveyance of the property to the city. If it's just something simple that we could use a local law firm for, that is a potential money savings to the county, I'm all for that. As far as education law, I think, obviously we probably want to stick with Bowles Rice because that's what they specialize in. After speaking with the attorney from Bowles Rice, he indicated that the engagement letters, just were essentially the same as what we have in this policy that has been repealed. It just indicates who can reach out to them, and it's not as restrictive as this policy is. From what the attorney sent to me is that as long as we have some type of an engagement letter or legal service agreement with a law firm, we can have those with multiple law firms, and there's not a conflict of interest between us reaching out to one law firm versus the other. So with that in mind, and this email that I have from the attorney, which, Mr. Wardle, I don't know if you were included. I know you were included on one of them. I'm not sure if you were included on the response I got back. I will forward this to you, and if you would, please, if you could forward it out to the board members. I'm gonna request that, based on the information provided to us by legal guidance, we do not take any action on removing the repealing of this policy. But I would like to ensure that we have an engagement letter sent to Steptoe and Johnson, and then we have an engagement letter that we can use with any local law firm that we have and need to use as well.
All right.
And so, no actions needed, but what I'll do, Mr. Wardle, I'll send you a copy of this email. I think you were on some of the initial correspondence between Trey and myself, and somewhere during the correspondence back and forth, you may have been dropped from that. So I'll forward this to you, and if you would, just send it out to the remaining board members tomorrow.
He's nodding yes.
Okay, I heard he said no at nine.
He said he heard your head.
Thank
nod.
you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, now moving to item 9C, discussion possible action regarding new transportation policy.
I can give you some update on that. Today, Trey reached out to myself and Mr. Boone. We're going to meet next week via Zoom, probably next Monday, for all three of us to get together because he has some questions about this policy that he wants to make sure that we follow what the federal government is asking our state to work with to make sure we're on the same page. He just wants clarification. We're not the only county dealing with this. It'll probably all look very similar with all 55 counties, but I think we're at the beginning of the stages and we're a little bit ahead of everybody. But that's to Mr. Boone taking initiative and moving quickly and judiciously as he's moving forward with this. So I got to give Mr. Boone and the bus transportation garage and everybody there, we're on the tip of the spear right now, and everybody else is kind of right there behind us. But since that accident happened in this state, not our doing, but you know how it works. If something happens, all of a sudden, a lot of people got involved and some things were discussed, and now we need to update our policy to match the federal guidelines, not just the state guidelines. And so next Monday, we should be meeting with Trey on that as we move forward.
All right.
So that would mean no action.
No action, correct.
All right, moving on to 9D, discussion possible action to plan for work session.
I don't know if it helps at all, but I had previously said 29th did not work for me. I can cancel that now. If that helps any, October 29.
About you, Ms. Farley?
Do you remember I don't have my phone. Do you remember the dates
I'll
I
have to
gave
pull
you?
them up, yeah.
I turned to my phone.
I understand. You emailed that.
Yes, I gave you the
Yeah,
dates that
before.
I was available.
I gotta sign in now. Does that count?
I didn't respond to that email, and I apologize, but right now, the only days I have open are the first and the fourth. That's a Friday and a Monday, due to work commitments.
November first and fourth.
The first
Right.
is American Indian Heritage Day.
What he said.
What'd you say?
First is American Indian Heritage Day. We just don't need to be interfering.
All right. Everybody else has the,
First or the fourth, either one works for me.
Okay, so that's Greg. Kenny said the first and fourth is okay with him. What did I let you know?
You were good with the first.
I was
You said
good with the
was
first.
Okay.
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 Are you okay with the first, Jay?
Yes.
Okay.
First,
Make a motion that we have our work session in November first.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to hold our work session on November the 1st. And what time are we planning?
up to you guys. Or you wanna do something?
Let's do like 8 to
8
12,
to noon?
and I guess we can change it if necessary.
Okay.
That sounds good.
All right.
And the location is,
Do you wanna do it at the board office, or do you wanna do it, find a room at the comprehensive high school? Cause I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to bring the principals in at all. Cause that was talk at one point in time, why I'm bringing it up.
if we're going to address the suicide prevention issue, which Megan had talked about at the one meeting, I think that we would need a little bit more room. So probably the comprehensive high
We'll
school,
find room there.
because I think that that is an issue that we need to address.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so we have the motion.
Motion and a second for a work session Friday, November 1st from 8 to 12 at the Summers County Comprehensive High School. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 10, new business. Approved purchases over 25,000.
None, sir.
That's a good one.
Greg heard some shaking. That was, Miss Farley dancing.
All right. Now, under new business, item B, discussion and possible action regarding recurring agenda items.
So I asked for this to be placed on the agenda. I was actually looking at the county commission's agenda, at something, and, noticed that they have their different departments present, updating information. So I just thought it might be good for us, instead of doing just the superintendent's report, to have the directors on a, whether it's a monthly or a every other month basis, give a report of their areas, how things are doing, in particular areas that pertain to attendance, to student achievement, to how we're doing, with some of the balanced scorecard items. Just to have a better pulse on the things that we are being on watch for.
All right.
some discussion and thought about that.
I agree. I think that's a great idea. And to make, I guess to make a note along those lines, I know that we've done that in, our work sessions in the past, but I think to make that information public is important and more regular, yes. So I agree with that.
And that was for, the information from the directors. Was there something else added on to that? I might not have heard the end of Megan's.
Attendance, scorecards,
Okay. Yeah. So I'll add to that then. I know we've talked about it and we brought a copy back of the financial report presented by Brooke County. That's something I would like to see us be able to provide on a recurring basis. They do theirs every board meeting. I would be, if we could get it once a month, I would be happy with that, but we need to see where we stand as budgetary wise, how much we've allocated, how much we've spent, and how much we have left to spend for the different funds.
Okay. Sounds good. So,
And maybe we could alternate and do the budget at one meeting and then the director's reports at the next meeting for the 2 monthly meetings.
right.
so we want to make that a motion?
So I will make a motion that, our agendas moving forward will include, at least to start out once a month, the director's report and a once a month budget report.
All right.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion on the floor with a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Opposed? Abstaining? Aye. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote, motion carries. Now moving on to personnel, item number 11. We have resignations, retirement. We have leave of absences, service employment, employment professionals, extra duty, extracurricular coaches.
Mr. Vice President, on that one, we have to take off the baseball catching position. We're not ready for that just yet. Our principal's still vetting that position, so I had to leave it on there because it was on there and I couldn't revise it. But tonight, I need to make it publicly known that that one is not ready.
Okay,
So,
mark it out.
yeah, that one's not ready.
And if we can back up and note that we've added the dates, under effective date for Sarah Fix to, 10/31 to 11/1.
All right.
Hiccup,
Sorry
sorry.
for the interruption there, Mr. Vice President.
Employment substitute professional and employment substitute service, and then that we have added Jacqueline Wheels as aide, cook, and secretary.
And that would start tomorrow as well, 10/23.
10/23.
I would like to make a motion based on West Virginia Code 6-9/4, paragraph 2, personnel, to go into executive session.
It's like,
We have a motion and a second to go in executive session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote. Motion carries. And Let the record reflect that we came out of executive session at, it is now 6:56. And I'd like to call this meeting back to order from our executive session. And do we have a motion on personnel?
Make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation for personnel with the exception of the head high school baseball coach that we're putting on hold.
Second. All right. We have a motion and a second to accept the personnel recommendations by the superintendent with the exception of the baseball coach. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining, let the record reflect by a 5-0 vote. Motion carries.
Yes, who seconded?
All.
We're good.
Moving on to item 12, discussion of next agenda.
Where do you want that work session? Cause that'll be next before the next board.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
Oh, what, you mean what we want for the work session?
Yeah,
Discussion of the work session?
do you want to put that down or?
For next meeting? Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
Okay. So I know you want the programs we deal with mental wellness, right?
If possible, I know for school day, that it would be great to be able to have all of the school counselors. be able to
Okay.
attend,
We can do that.
or SRO.
You'll probably want CIS and then also summer and then Reno Medical. Those are all the people. Okay.
Maybe even Game Changer. Which I know some of the counselors are also the
Right.
site, for that thing.
Mr. Morgan, could you reach out to the accountability and ask them if they have the report for their visit with us? And I know I sent a message to one of the individuals and they indicated the report should be to us soon. I think that would be a good report for us to discuss in our work session and to look at their suggestions in the report and figure out a path moving forward to improve the items that they see that we need to be working on.
Mr. Angel, I don't see any here for superintendent's report. So here's what I was going to tell you guys tonight. I did talk to Alex Kreiner from the State Department yesterday. And I said, are you guys going to give us a report out? And she said by the end of this week or early next week, we should have a report. So,
Okay.
hopefully it'll be
Would be a
before
good
the
discussion at our
work session would be great. You know?
Thank you.
All right, anything else on that? Okay, moving on to item 13, points of privilege. Ms. Harvey?
Well, I'm sure this is gonna be everybody's points of privilege. For my family to the Bennett family, our sincere condolences and sympathy for the loss of Roger, the students that were on his bus.
Yes.
I spoke with Mr. Boone on, Saturday, who shared with me just Roger's commitment to work and to the school system, that up until about 2 weeks before he got sick, he was back here. He was here on the first day of, or the opening day of, school for the staff. He didn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing commitment, dedication, and my heart goes out to his wife and his daughter.
What? Ms. Garland?
And I would like to add to Megan's, about Mr. Bennett. I spoke with his wife Kim yesterday, and she asked me to reach out to everyone and express her sincere gratitude for all the love that they've received, and the outpouring of love. It's hard to imagine being as close as possible to someone that you didn't grow up with or, hadn't had a relationship with until you have work family. And that bus garage is the epitome of a work family. So please be prayerful for the bus drivers too, because they've lost a brother. They're very close. And so please be prayerful for them, their family too. And again, Kim asked me to reach out and express her sincere gratitude.
All right.
My heart goes out as well to the Bennett family. Certainly, that family's in need of many prayers, and I hope that we'll all continue to hold them up. Prayer certainly does change things. One other thing I just want to mention, I don't know where everybody stands. I'm not going to ask as far as the levy goes that we're trying to get passed. But if you are in favor, we're 2 weeks away, and just keep talking to people and giving the facts. I mean, we still have so many people that have no idea what's on the levy. I run into them all the time. They have no idea. I actually found a person the other day that don't even know we were trying to pass it. So don't assume anybody knows anything about it. Mr. Orville, I appreciate the flyer you got out, you and your staff. That was very nice. And I've mentioned Elisa before, but she's just been a trooper.
Gangbuster. Gangbuster.
I mean, sometimes she may hear this or see it, but she's tough, but she's got a goal and it's a good goal, and I hope she attains that goal.
All right, thank you. Mr. Angel?
I just want to extend my condolences to Roger's family. I know that that family's been very supportive of our students and our school system through the years, and there's a lot of folks that are going to miss seeing Roger. I was fortunate I was able to visit with Roger before he passed, and we were able to pray with Roger, and he expressed his salvation to us when we met with him, and that was just a very comforting thing to know, having been able to talk to him. And we just know that while we'll miss him, and I know the bus drivers will miss him tremendously, and as will the students, we know Roger's in a better place now, and someday we'll have the opportunity to see him again. Just keep that family in our prayers, and just wrap our arms around them and let them know that we care about them. And I just want to thank you all for all you do. Thank you all for picking up for me while I'm not able to be there in person. And that's all I have right now, Jay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Angel. And I'll just sum it up. our condolences go out for Mr. Bennett, Roger. And, I actually hired Roger back when I still worked and he was always a good employee, never caused any trouble, just done his job every day and, took care of the kids on the bus. You didn't have any problems from that. So, he will be missed and I know how they feel down there. It is a family down there. So, just keep all of those in your prayers. That's all I want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn. What time is it?
7:06.
7:06.
Second, okay. You have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the record reflect 5-5 vote. The motion carries.
Mr. McBride, do you mind if I give that to Miss Harvey? You mind if I give the second to her my notes?
Yeah,
You do mind or you don't?
no, I don't.
Okay, sorry.
No, I don't mind.
It's like, who